For combining like terms, the first step in this problem is to convert this negative to each term in the second parentheses. This changes the sign, and now we're looking at plus x squared y. Now we're looking at minus 3xy squared. And now we're looking at plus 3y squared. Then you combine like terms. So when you have a unit like x squared y, there's an invisible 1 in front of it. We have x squared y plus another x squared y from over here. This gives us 2x squared y. The next unit I'll look at, we'll underline. We see minus 3y squared, and we see plus 3y squared. These two units actually cancel each other out, and we're left with 0. The final unit, we see xy squared. And I start off with 5xy squared, and I subtract 3 of them, leaving me with 2xy squared. If I put the pieces back together, C is my answer. Next expression, we're adding what says the sum of these two expressions. So we'll take a squared minus 1 plus a plus 1. That's what it means to take the sum of these two expressions. The minus 1 and the plus 1 are going to cancel out, and we'll be left with a squared plus a. They may have the same variable, but they cannot be combined because they have different exponents. If you were multiplying them, it would become a cubed, but not when you're adding. The coefficients in front of these terms are not combined. We're just looking at a squared plus a because it cannot be simplified. For this problem, you'll have to distribute. Two is multiplied by each term inside of the parentheses, and 8 is multiplied by each term inside of the parentheses. The next step is to combine like terms. From here, I can subtract 10p from both sides. Negative 6 is equal to negative 5p. I'll divide both sides by negative 5. And my final answer is 6 over 5, or 1.2. On the SAT, when you bubble them in, there are, in addition to numbers, other symbols such as a decimal or a fraction bar. So you can bubble this in as 1 decimal 2 or 6 fraction bar 5. Either one would be correct. Next problem, we'll take one term at a time. 3x squared plus 5x squared gives us 8x squared. A minus 5x plus a negative 2x gives us negative 7x. 2 plus a negative 6 gives us negative 4. If we combine these terms back together, we see that it corresponds with letter A. For the back, the first thing we do, we distribute the 2, but we also distribute the negative. This becomes 10x minus 40 minus 15 minus 8x is equal to 7. When we combine like terms, we see 2x minus 55 is equal to 7. When we add 55 to both sides, we get 2x is equal to 62. When we divide by 2 on both sides, we get x is equal to 31. Next up, first step, distribute the negative. This minus becomes a plus. This plus becomes a minus. And this minus becomes a plus. Let's add each term individually. 2x squared plus 3x squared gives us 5x squared. Right away, we can rule out C and D. Next term, we see that negative 4 plus 7 gives us a positive 3. And lastly, minus 2x is not combined with any other term. This gives us choice A. Final problem, we first distribute the negative 2. We multiply each term inside of the parentheses by negative 2. This becomes minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. When we combine each term, it works like this. The negative 3, when you subtract 2, you get a negative 5. We start with 5x, and we're going to add another 4x to give us 9x. And the negative 2 and the positive 2 cancel out to give us 0. So if we rewrite this in ax squared plus bx plus c form, we get negative 5x squared plus 9x, and it would be plus 0, which you don't need to write. They don't want that for the answer, though. They only want the value of b. b, as you can see here, is merely the coefficient for x, which is 9. So b is equal to 9. That's your final answer.